Okay, well, the expectations are high for Wisconsin. They expect Minnesota to come in and win right away. Let me tell you where else expectations are high. It's for that young man, Drew Aller, a former five-star recruit. He has waited his turn as a true sophomore to lead this team as the probable starter for Penn State. And Mike Robinson knows a little bit about what those expectations mean on the bright lights of Penn State. I had a chance to talk with him earlier.
Are you soloing your boss's house to see what she pays? Well, now you can solo a
managing the
home loan.
expectations, right? Like, this is a big deal. How do you do it? How do you manage
It's made with a plant-based moisturizer and glides on without irritation. So you can glide through your entire day with confidence. Dove Man Glide.
At Papa John's, we start with chicken. Veggies all you want is chicken. Juicy all-white meat chicken, lightly breaded and baked to a crispy golden brown. Try them with our new zesty sauce. Find our new bonus wings at the Papa Paris menu. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Sean was more of a vocal guy. I'm more of a lead by example guy. I feel like doing all the things, little things right is the best influence, especially being a younger player on the I haven't really done anything to it yet, so I don't feel like I can be the vocal leader of the team.
You're humble and you're ready. Hopefully you're hungry.
Introducing IHG One Rewards, 18 hotel brands, 6,000 global destinations, one loyalty program that lets you guest how you guest.
Mine's mint chocolate chip for sure. It's all-time classic.
We haven't won a national.
The last of summer will draw you in at Toyota's National Sales Event.
For this program to take the next step and get into the
Reach the new all-electric 2023 BZ4X for just $349 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Summer is ending. Savings are endless at Pops Discount Furniture. 6, 12, 30, and 60-month financing options and new everyday low prices at my highly rated furniture, mattresses, and more. So join the fun of my summer send-off celebration.
The Chase Inc. Business Premier Card is made for Sam.
Everyday products, designed smarter.
Genius! Like 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So Sam can make smart ideas.
A brilliant reality.
Chase for business. Make more of what's yours.
The sun is setting at Toyota's National Sales Event. Wait, they have until September 5th.
Right now, get 3.99% APR on the new 2023 RAV4 Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
And again, it's decision-making, making sure you... All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's hit some highlights right now as we get set for our next kickoff coming up between Texas Tech and Wyoming. Michigan, of course, without Jim Harbaugh. J.J. McCarthy says, "Read the man." Self-imposed 3-game suspension. Jesse Minter, one of 4 members of the staff who will play the role of head coach. Don Rick and J.J. McCarthy calling the line with scrimmage right there.
J.J. looked like Coach Harbaugh was right there in the middle of everything. He was brilliant today, 26 of 30. You see a couple of touchdown passes this one to Roman Wilson. He ends up 26 of 30, as I said, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brilliant start for the young quarterback.
Yeah, good to see Blake Corn back on the field for the Wolverines as well. 10 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. And that's just what Jim Harbaugh wants to see while he's not there.
Exactly. Did we expect anything else? This is a player-driven team. They understand the standard that's been set. They've been to the college football playoff back-to-back years. They didn't get what they want, a ticket to the title game, but they are built on a solid foundation. Our head coach is not here. That's why you see JJ out there free Harbaugh. A cheeseburger. That's why he's not there.
Can we at least say a cheeseburger in paradise?
Yes, we can say that. Yes, a cheeseburger. But he's not there. And it's great to see the judge and jury impose their own 3-game suspension as they do.
It's not always a cheeseburger. Say it.
Just in the cover-up. Still a cheeseburger.
Listen, Michigan is built for the long haul. They have a remarkable roster. Jim Harbaugh could not stop talking about it media day. He thinks there'll be somewhere between 19 and 20 players drafted this year. Gave me 19 and 20. That's what he believes. J.J. McCarthy, he needs to give him trust. 26 of 30 is a heck of a way to do that. Even though Jim Harbaugh loves to pound and go back to the days when he was at Stanford with Toby Gerhardt trying to run it into the end zone and going for 2 with more powers against Pete Carroll back in the day. This is a guy that wants to be aggressive. The offensive and defensive lines are built for that. This is a
Rewards
complete
card. Choose an
football team
online
in
shopping
J.J.
category and earn 3% cash
Run the
back.
ball. We know that.
Well, you got Donovan Edwards as well. We haven't mentioned him. And defensively, Justin Miller, what, third defensive coordinator the last 3 or 4 years, and they haven't skipped a beat there either. They put numerous guys in the league, and they just erase them in play. So he has this thing rolling just as he envisioned when he took over. Just took a while. Now 2-0 versus Ohio State. For those last 2 years, Jesse Minter 1-0 as a head coach.
Yeah, what happens next week, by the way? We can't first half, the second half.
Can't figure out who's doing the halftime.
Well, we're going to have that game against UNLV here next week. Meantime, Georgia going to the first 3 beats in the modern era. They open with UT Martin.
So they put the last 2 spots.
A good thing to schedule this way. Find Brock Bowers, whether it's passing or letting him run, BJ.
That's it, and we've seen this. They've got maybe not TFL right there, but yeah, rub that belly. Defensive coordinator, Brandon Butcher, he's happy. Now, we've seen this as well with Stetson Bennett. And now Parsons back and said, I got athleticism, I got some shakes as well. So that there is another weapon, not just his arm, but he looks pretty standing in the pocket, but utilizing his wheels.
Also, Dominic Thomas, Ra-Ra Thomas would transfer receivers to this offense to add some outside to go along with Flat McConkey. But their base is to run the ball, be physical up front, and this young quarterback, he's got all the tools and he's got all the weapons. No reason to see any fall off of Georgia.
Yeah, a little shaky so far.
Get this. These games are always, a lot of weight. It's like we saw with Ohio State. Everybody wants the ball. The problem is there's only one. Just relax, be patient, and all of a sudden it can get rolling.
Well, you've inserted a new signal caller as well. And I'm sure there's some anxiety on his part. He's got to get into a rhythm. There's a cadence to every game, every offense, even the defensive side of the ball. They'll find out that rhythm, and then you'll see it'll be same with Georgia.
All right, I see you soon. No shakiness as far as the USC offense, number 6 in the country. It's actually the defense that you have to worry about. The Trojans getting better if you want to see them in the CFP, as I believe you guys both predicted. But here comes Caleb Williams again, Rick, and here comes another touchdown.
This freshman is a shell. This is Zachariah Brown.
Thank you so much, Jay. We're almost all the way at
Las
the
Vegas. He's having quite a year. Here you see Nevada. Sean Dollars get a 3-yard touchdown
against West Virginia. We're taking a look.
That's exactly right. And that's Marshawn Lloyd, the transfer from South Carolina, is so he went from USC to USC. I still think
Now, Todd Blackwood, she's going to be
so Caleb Williams knows when to not go for the gusto, and just love one for someone to make a play.
This guy, he utilizes all the weapons, and he's got great field vision, and if it's not there, he'll make something happen with his legs. Defensively, we'll pack that on the scoreboard. They haven't scored since. That's where everyone's going to focus on Alex Grinch. Now, going back to the Branch kid, what did Bob Stoops and then Lincoln Riley do when they were in Oklahoma? They went into Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, and got some dynamite football players. Lincoln Riley does it again with this Branch kid.
No one knows how to get players in space better than Lincoln Riley. And with Caleb Williams and the experience now in that offense, having been at Oklahoma with him and now at USC, there is no more dangerous offense in the country than the one that's playing in Los Angeles. That is an absolute dynamite equation right there to try to corral those guys.
But even with that in mind, you said, it'll take just the littlest mistakes for the Heisman voters to change their tune from a year ago, because that's how it often goes.
Exactly. There's the scrutiny for it. As I said, Bryce Young was magical last year. The numbers might not have been the same, but the plays go back to the game of Texas, right? Where the corner comes off and just makes the guy miss and has him go over his back and gets the guys down the field for the field goal. This is a remarkable player in Williams. It will be hard for him to get the Heisman unless he just outdistances and outshines everybody else. And you think about the field, holy smokes, there's some good players starting with that kid Sanders in Colorado.
Reverting to the defense, I went back and watched last week's ball game versus San Jose State. And we have to give credit to the other teams sometimes. I mean, they give scholarships as well. And that Cordero at quarterback is pretty good. You'll see him versus Georgia State tomorrow right here. But there were some missed tackles, first game jitters. We've got some new guys transfers, but that Bear Alexander, the transfer from Georgia, was very disruptive. May not have seemed so when we look at the stat line. The Lucas kid, Anthony Lucas, the transfer from Texas A&M, the edge rusher looks the part. He looks great in the uniform, made some plays. They played some freshmen who missed their gaps on certain plays, but they'll be just fine. They look as though they want to tackle, unlike that Pac-12 game a year ago versus Utah, where everyone is like, nah, I don't want any business. I don't want to be part of this. Change Utah Utes.
J.J. McCarthy started the Heisman campaign today. 26 for 30. They don't care about who they play. The numbers speak for themselves. Well, this guy will have plenty of stages. This is going to be a very fun race.
Top two right now. Shadur Travis Hunter.
Oh, yeah. 4 touchdowns in the first half, last I checked. But Deion Sanders, part of his post-game press conference that he didn't play was that he's got 2 guys who are Heisman front-runners already.
See if they can keep it up.
Yep. You know, Wisconsin's had guys come to New York as Heisman finalists at the running back spot. But Badgers fans heard rumors of an air raid. New quarterback Tanner Mordecai, Luke Fickell taking over the program. But they ran the ball plenty to go along with some touchdown passes.
At one point, they had more rushes than they did passes. And Luke Fickell says that everyone gets caught up in the first air raid. I got to rail it out. And so far, Buffalo defense for 89 yards. Let me get into the action. He was a lot shorter, but still enough speed to get out there on the edge and power himself into the end zone.
It's the BetMG's offer of the
run the ball. He will run the ball.
Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets.
Remember, he has 1,000-yard receivers, two almost 1,000-yard running backs. So they want to be balanced.
Longo is all these spread off coordinators. What they do is they count numbers. If I put spread out the offense, put receivers almost to the sideline. If you go out with them, I'm going to run the ball there because I've got numbers. Especially if I have a quarterback that, number one, can recognize what's going on and get me to the right play. And then if you can add his legs to the equation, then you've got the ultimate weapon. But in North Carolina, as you pointed out, had 2 near 1,000-yard rushers in that same year. That was Phil Longo calling those plays.
Both of those guys in the NFL, looks like these two would be in the NFL as well.
Oh, even when Texas Tech was doing air raid, they just run the ball too. You spread it out and leaves more space at the middle.
Oklahoma State, they were throwing the ball over the place, but they always had a 1,000-yard rush. It was like a decade straight where they had a 1,000-yard rush. They want to run the ball. And everyone said, well, all they do is pass in the Big 12. No, the running game is a critical part of the offense as well.
And for me, watching Wisconsin today, that also means the O-line, and Wisconsin's a team that the Buckeyes are going to have to face before long this year.
Wisconsin's O-line is built for removing the line of scrimmage. What will be interesting as we get a little further into the season and people say, with their defense, say, go ahead and beat us with a throw, can they protect on those edges? Because they're used to having tight ends there. If they're not there, are those tackles adept enough to get back and keep that guy from getting pressure on Mordecai?
All right, we are, of course, waiting for the kick between Texas Tech and Wyoming, which is currently in a weather delay. For the latest, let's send it to the guys waiting to call tonight's game, Rich Waltz and Aaron Taylor in Laramie.
All right, thank you, Adam. Texas Tech, Wyoming, Big 12, Mountain West, and yes, we were ready to go about an hour ago. The temperatures were in the low 80s. There was a huge tailgate outside. On they came into the stadium. Then we have lightning and thunder and rain. Not necessarily in that order, but you get the idea. Richard Wheels, along with Aaron Taylor. Amanda Garrett will join us shortly. And I'll bet you this right now. Texas Tech's Joey McGuire, the second-year head coach, can't wait to get on the field because so much is expected of them because of how they ended the season last year. They beat Texas, they beat Oklahoma in overtime, they beat Ole Miss in a bowl game. A lot is expected of them. But this is Laramie, and he's experienced it firsthand with the ultimate background.
What made you decide that you wanted to speak out?
Martha McCallum, years of interview.
And what he also told us that they did play well on the road last year. They were 1-4
House of
in
Murdoch,
2 road
streaming
games.
now on
They
Fox
forced beat
Nation. Sign up
Mississippi
now
in
and
the
get your
bowl
first
game,
3 months for
but they
$1.99.
started to make some changes last offseason. Said we want to do everything exactly like we do at home.
This iPad Pro sold for less than
Enter Lightning.
$34.
So right out of the gate, them trying to turn the corner on something that was their Achilles heel became much more difficult.
You don't have to telestrate this because this is essentially what hits. You know, first it got dark, then it got loud, and then it got wet. And the Wyoming fans kept pouring into the stadium, and they actually cheered when the rain started. That's how hardy they are. Look, and you see that flash of lightning that was moments ago. So I guess the big question is this. Say the lightning clears, but you still have cloud and rain and wind. Who does that favor?
It's going to favor Wyoming because they're at home. We talked about the problems that Texas Tech had a season ago. This is old hat for the people here in Laramie in the Valley. The fans are still out here. Texas Tech fans are all underneath the stadium, which is where I'm sure Amanda Guerra is with some more information about the weather. Amanda?
She's protected.
Yes, I am protected. We're here under the concourse. Okay, so I have an update on the weather delay and exactly when things are going to start. Part of it depends on the weather gods. As soon as the lightning is clear, there's going to be about a 40-minute clock that starts. Game management, they talk to each coaches. They said that their players need about 30 minutes to warm up, another 5 minutes for the coaches to get upstairs to their boxes, and then about a 5-minute buffer. So as soon as the lightning is clear, game will start about 40 minutes after that. You're mentioning the Wyoming fans. I am here to the concourse. It looks like I'm at a Texas Tech game, y'all, because all these fans traveled from Lubbock to support the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They are so excited to be here. There's a huge contingency of Raiders fans here. They had a tailgate about 1,000 people. They sold that out. I think several thousand are here to watch this game. So everybody's excited for it to get underway. We just gotta wait for that lightning to move on out of here, guys.
Yeah, that season opener, it just hasn't arrived quite yet. And Craig Bowl the same way. I know he's anxious to get his Cowboys on.
Well, these are two blue-collar teams that are ready to take that next step and prove that they deserve to be in prime time. They go about it a little bit differently, but these are tough football teams that are cut from the same cloth. So this is a big game. It's really a barometer and a launching pad for both programs for where they see themselves in the future.
Look, I think we'll have good news here in a little bit. But the good news is we get to head back to New York. Adam?
Yeah, Rich, Aaron, Amanda, thank you. We work with Aaron every Tuesday on college football.
Paradise.
But you can tell he's kind of enjoying the weather delay. There's a part of Aaron Taylor who's enjoying this weather delay.
Especially in my hometown, Boston and Lubbock, they're not used to this type of weather. If you don't like the weather in Lubbock, just wait 5 minutes. It will change. So they probably practicing this. They're probably been out there in the lightning. If you jump so they can handle this. The Texas Tech faithful that have traveled there, they can handle it as well. They're usually dealing with rain mixed with dust, so mud.
What he did say that was accurate was that these are two blue-collar teams. These two teams pride themselves on their toughness. Joey McGuire is an old high school coach. This is all going to be about, they can't throw anything at us that's going to make us blink. We're going to be just fine regardless of the circumstances. And Craig Bowl is going to be saying this is exactly what we want, right? This is exactly what we want, and we're going to get out and take this. I had a chance a few years back in 2019 to call a game, an opener in Laramie against a Power 5 opponent, Missouri, and I tell you, that whole town closed up every shift. They were at the stadium, and they ended up knocking off Missouri that night. Barry Odie's Missouri team, as a matter of fact. Do not be shocked if Wyoming gets after the Red.
Oh, they're going to get after them. They're a pretty good defensive line. I'm not going to be surprised whatsoever. This is going to be an excellent matchup and a test for Texas Tech's offense, which returns everyone on that side of the ball. But Wyoming will come to play, no doubt.
Fun scene, fun game.
Yeah.
I think if given the choice, I would also go under the stadium when there's lightning nearby. No? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Quick walk.
No, man. I'm just playing golf in the lightning all down in South Florida.
You didn't see Caddyshack.
I did.
U.S. Army Post
Stage. Big dance. Go get the door for Casa, which is all this and more.
Shop the freshest and best of the fall season with Fresh Direct.
We started at 12.
Food that delivers you.
Dropping down since 9-6.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles.
What happened when the Brigade met the Southwest?
Like the CRV and the Accord.
7 hours.
Both with available hybrid powertrains.
With 6
designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovation. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in car and driver history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealers today.
Always comes with anti-fragrance. Smell finer than the finest fragrance.
There comes a time in every dip's life when it's ready to leave the slow cooker, even buffalo chicken dip. So we put juicy chicken, buffalo sauce, and melty cheese in a portable, crispy golden
Get way more
shell.
into what you're into when you stream on the Xfinity 10G
Sonic
network.
$2.99 buffalo chicken dip bites.
The Acura Summer Performance Event Zones on Max. If you encounter
Is your plan to watch the game today?
do not run.
Yeah, I have to watch my neighbor's NFL Sunday. It's not your best plan. Do you know what it is? My plan from Verizon. Switch now and they'll give you NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV on them. Another amazing plan? Backing away from you.
And speak for a little.
Football season is here. Get NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV on us. A $449 value. Plus, get a free Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. Only on Verizon.
What if your entire day glided like Dove Men? It's made with a plant-based moisturizer and glides on without irritation, so you can run through your entire day with confidence. Feel the Dove Men glide.
If you've ever wished you could take buffalo chicken dip wherever you go, today's your lucky day. Because Sonic stuffed it with crispy porky white. Now wish for something else. Like more hands to hold your bites. Sonic $2.99 buffalo chicken dip bites.
West Virginia will see its offense first to switch gears, and it's an offensive line that returns all 5 starters, and that is the strength. They can run the football.
We welcome you back to the U.S. Army postgame show, which is also now our pregame show as we get set for Texas Tech and Wyoming to kick things off in Laramie. If you're just joining us, we are in a lightning delay. Going with you here until at least the top of the hour here. Hoping to kick things off very shortly, but in the meantime, catching you up on everything else that's been going on around the country. And Iowa, they're hoping to get some lightning in that offense. Just bring Caitlin Clark by. Aaron Green to score some points. For Cade McNamara, you wondered if he was going to be healthy enough to go, and he was. Maybe not 100%, but 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter.
They have superstar like that, and
He's a guy who's got a lot of confidence, but he has grown since January. It's just playing within himself, feeling like he has to make every play.
They know how to run the rock. This defense played outstanding all day, as they do, even with the guys they lost because of the gambling issue.
Yes, and defense never an issue. Iowa lately 24-14 the win, and 24. It is so awkward to watch.
They don't want to just be here. They want to be the premier program in the Big 12, which suddenly got a lot more competitive and a lot deeper.
And now, finally, it's time to do Project Smarter, presented by the Home Depot. Outstanding quarterback at Texas Tech, Tyler Shuck.
They certainly would be smart to let Tyler Shuck do his thing. He was 5-0 as a starter a season ago, 8-1 overall, but he's battled injuries. Zach Kittley, the offensive coordinator, told us he has full autonomy over the offense. They need him to call his number less and not run so much so that he can stay healthy all season.
Outstanding defense for Texas Tech, especially the front seven. This is the guy in the middle, Jalen Hutchings.
He's such a good run stopper. He fills those gaps and cancels them inside. Defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter said he felt this year's front seven was better than the one that had Tyree Wilson drafted as the 7th player overall last year. And he's replaced these guys because here are a couple of creatures to feature. Miles Cole, look at that wingspan, 7'2". He's a terror on the edge in the run game. And Steve Linton, the transfer from Syracuse, he is a force when the ball gets dropped back to pass.
The history of Wyoming football, proud tradition, and they've had some great winning seasons. but consistency has at times been an issue here in Laramie. Not for Craig Bohl, though. He won 3 national championships at North Dakota State, and he has won since he's arrived here.
He's very quietly built Wyoming into one of the most consistent programs in recent college football history. They've been to bowl games 5 of the last 7 years, but they haven't won the conference yet. But Coach Bohl in our meetings this week told us he feels that this is his best and most deepest team yet in all 3 phases, and a win tonight would be a great place to jumpstart that campaign.
He's known for developing NFL players. He's had 2 starting middle linebackers in the league. This is the next one, Easton Gibbs.
Rich, the shortest distance between 2 points is a head start. You need instincts to do that, and that is Easton Gibbs. Preseason Defensive Player of the Year for the Mountain West Conference. He is a ball hawk there in the middle.
Andrew Peasley came from a fast spread, throw it all the time offense, and last year the transition wasn't a smooth one.
And it wasn't just on him. The offensive line was struggling a little bit. He didn't have the receivers, so he struggled with his accuracy and decision making at times. But we were told that his growth year over year has been exponential. So look for him to put the ball on target, throwing to a faster wide receiver group and a couple of tight ends to keep your eye on.
All right, for one certain Texas Tech Raider, this wait of an hour and 10 minutes before kickoff, not a problem. He's been waiting for this for a long time. And with more on that, here is Amanda Guerra.
Rich, I know we remember this so well, and so many people watching at home remember this. It was one of the most difficult and heartbreaking scenes to witness in college football last season. Texas Tech linebacker Bryce Ramirez suffering a gruesome leg injury on the field against NC State. It was Texas Tech's 3rd game of the season, but it was the first career start for Ramirez, who started off as a walk-on, earned a scholarship, and just a couple plays before that injury got his first career sack. He told us, look, I knew it was broken, had no idea the severity until he got to the hospital. His coaches were worried he could never use his leg again. To this day, defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter still breaks down in tears when he says Ramirez's name. We spoke to Ramirez this week, who said, I knew I could come back from this. He underwent multiple surgeries in North Carolina, eventually came home to Lubbock, was greeted at the airport by his coaches. Coach McGuire joking, we're not moving at Texas Tech speed right now. We do want to give a shout out to Texas Tech trainer Steve Labso, who stayed with Ramirez the entire time he was in North Carolina, and nearly every day since, helping him rehab, get back to this point where he will take the field tonight. He told us, I may cry running onto the field because I know what it's like not to play football. For it to be stripped away, I feel like a kid again.
I'll tell you what, Amanda, he and Tim DeRuyter aren't going to be the only emotional people there. His sister and his mom, and there he is, Aaron Taylor. The long road back ends tonight in Laramie.
You can't describe the emotion and elation you feel, the perseverance that it takes to get yourself back on the field. I ruptured both my patella tendons my first 2 years in the NFL, and I cried both times I came back. This was one of the biggest moments in Ramirez's life.
Great contrast here in Laramie tonight. Texas Tech loves to play fast offensively. Wyoming is old school, blue collar. They'll throw it, but they want to run it first. Reese Burkhart will kick it off and start the season for Texas Tech and Wyoming. At 7,200 feet, the ball's going to fly tonight, and that's into the end zone. Some of the Cowboys we'll see tonight, presented by Papa John's. Now, Andrew Peasley, terrific arm. His feet are dangerous as well.
He's very much more of a running quarterback than he is an accurate drop-back passer, but they want him to sit in the pocket a little bit more. But he's going to have to pick up 2 to 3 first downs and keep the sticks moving at some point tonight to get the win.
And a big question here, can they run the football against Texas Tech? Because that sets everything in motion for this offense.
No question about that, and this is a salty front 7. They've got an offensive line that has made some changes, but the 2 injuries to their starting running backs was a real challenge. It's going to be really hard for them to overcome that, but that's what they're tasked with.
Beasley in the shotgun, here we go, ball to 25. This is the first game. We did wait for an hour and 10 minutes, so the nerves might be a little frayed.
Offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Caden Barnett, but you remember, Rich, we were out here in practice on Thursday, and there were several false starts by the offensive line. That is not the way that offensive coordinator Tim Polasek wanted to start this drive. But these are the motions that you get in week 1. You have to get yourself settled down.
So 1st and 15. And the first carry, Jamari Farrell. It's tough getting around the edge of Texas Tech. The offensive line is young in spots, but the left tackle, Frank Crum, is a real good one.
He's the alpha of that O-line room. He played right tackle last year, which wasn't his natural position. Rich, the question that I'm wondering tonight and for all season long for Wyoming is how quickly can this unit grow up versus the strength of this entire Red Raiders team.
Now Sam Scott in the backfield. Wyoming will rotate 3 running backs tonight. DQ James, Jamari Farrell, and Sam Scott. Second down and 14. Peasley did the air for the first time. Steps up, spins, escapes, still on his feet, and he falls across the 25. It's a gain of about 4.
We talked about the pass rush off the top, and that's exactly what's taken place here. Just a speed rush off to the side, but there's pressure up front. But there's Hutchings. We featured him on the top of the open. Not a real pass rusher, only a sack and a half, but they play hard. When you don't give up on plays, good things happen, and that's what Tim DeRuyter challenged this unit with in the offseason.
Wyoming has 2 very good tight ends, Trayton Welch and John Michael Gillenborg, and they want to use them tonight on 3rd down and 10. Four-man rush. Peasley flushed, looking, faking, and he's caught and stopped. Jacob Rodriguez for the Red Raiders. And it's going to be a 3 and out. And that push up front by Hutchings and Bradford flushed him.
And you saw some of the players waving over as Peasley was getting up slow there. Those are the things that they're worried about. Remember, he got hurt towards the end of last season. But that's that pass rush and that relentless pursuit of this Red Raider defense. See Steve Linton over there with a ferocious hit. Guys are coming off the top rope, WWF style. But the reason Wyoming is punting is because of that penalty on 1st down. It's just so hard to overcome that.
Clayton Stewart to punt it. Both these teams have a outstanding punter and very good place kickers. That is a absolute bomb. All the way down to the 16-yard line. Miles Price up the left side, and he's knocked out of bounds. Now, some of the Red Raiders we'll see, presented by Papa John's. Tyler Shuck, 8-1 as a starter for Texas Tech.
Pretty impressive. Shuck's a seasoned, strong-armed, mobile quarterback who knows how to get things done. He likes to run a little bit more for their liking because he's been hurt, but look for him to get the ball to Mason Tharp, who may be the nation's tallest tight end at 6'9", 270 pounds.
They will play fast. Fastest in the nation last year. They averaged 85 plays a game. On 1st and 10, Shuck to the air. Short toss. Has a man. Miles Price again. Price is dragged down at the 33. That's a gain of about 7. Easton Gibbs made the stop.